Hi, it's Will from StormTheCastle.com, and here on YouTube you know me as Epic Fantasy, and this is my latest Friday Fish and Chips. And in this video, I am going to be talking about Kintsugi. What? Okay, welcome back. And if you're not familiar with Friday Fish and Chips, what this is Will's vlog, my vlog. And almost every Friday, at noontime, and this is true, I really do this. At noontime, I take a break from work, I walk to a local restaurant, I pick up a fish and chips, I bring it home, and set it at the table and sit down and talk. And I cover different themes and different ideas. So this Friday, I'm going to talk about something called Kintsugi. K-I-N-T-S-U-G-I. Alright, so what is that? You may be familiar with it, you may not. Kintsugi is a Japanese art of repairing, pottery. Dishes and bowls and pots and stuff. But here's the beautiful thing about it. And if you know my stuff, you know I love Japanese things, you know, origami and tatabanko. I've been to Japan. There's a certain aesthetic about the Japanese, a bonsai, right? I guess that's a theme that runs through a good portion of my work. And I have a lot of admiration for all things Japanese. Paper dioramas, you know. Alright, so let me say, Kintsugi, let me get to the point here, is the Japanese art of repairing ceramic bowls and plates and different things that have been broken, and repairing them in a way so they're even more beautiful. And they usually use gold to repair the cracks. And you know, isn't that wonderful? So when you and this is so contrary to the modern American way, you know, because what we do is we just throw things out, buy a new one, and for some odd reason we think a new one is just nice. You know, we have this obsession with new, you know, and it runs through everything we have. I bought a new car, I get a new house, I bought a new PlayStation, you know, everything's new. But if you were to look at a Kintsugi, a plate that Kintsugi has been applied to, a whole different set of things come to your mind.
Thanks, man.
First off, you say, wow, that plate was broken. Second off, you say, wow, the plate has been repaired. Third thing you think is, wow, that plate is beautiful. Right? So now, and let me give you a fourth thing too, is you think, wow, somebody took the time, instead of just throwing this plate out and buying a new one, somebody took the time to repair it. Right? Now, isn't there a beauty in that? I mean, in a world that's so disposable, where we throw everything out, you know, and get a new one, that there's a kind of a beauty in that. So now, all of a sudden, you're talking about an heirloom, something that can be passed on throughout your family. All right, so Kintsugi, and I'm going to give you two more points here, and let me just launch into them. So my second Kintsugi point here is that one of my tutorials a while back is I made a sword. I blacksmithed up a sword. And the point of the video was to make a sword down and dirty. As fast as I could make it, with as little frills and as little effort as possible, to get a sword done. And it took me 6 hours from start to finish, which is ridiculous. That's just a ridiculous amount of time to make a sword, at least with the techniques I use. I mean, if you had a machine shop and all the stuff, maybe you could make one sooner, I don't know. But the sword it works, and it's safe, and it cuts, but it looks like heck. That is not a good looking sword. It's, you know, it almost looks like, I don't know what it looks like. I'll put a link to that video if you want to check out that sword. But I accomplished the goal I wanted to accomplish, and that I did it. You know, I bolted that thing together, metaphorically speaking, and finished it all off in 6 hours with. It still was a lot of work, you know, but with minimal work in terms of sword making. And I have this idea in my head that I want to Kintsugi that sword, which is a little bit of a contradiction because it actually isn't really broken. It's just ugly, right? So, but I do like the thought of taking that ugly sword and then now putting, I don't know, 50 hours into it and coming up with something that's beautiful. And I like that. So it's kind of an aspect of Kintsugi because it's not broken, it's just ugly, right? Let me know what you think. But you got to understand, and if you want me to Kintsugi that sword, right? And it's kind of ironic because it'll be a Kintsugi sword, I guess, you know. If you want me to do it, and you leave a comment or you send me a message telling me to do it, you have to understand I'm looking at 50 hours of work, right? So sometimes, and that means there's other things I can't get done. So, just consider that. That's all I'm saying. I'll make the decision myself based on what I want to do and how much time I have. But that is something that I've been thinking about a lot, and it is on my to-do list. And depending on how beautiful the final sword comes out, it'll be worth it. So. All right, so one more thing I want to talk about when it comes to Kintsugi. And I don't think anybody ever talks this way because, Kintsugi, it's a term that bounces around and you can read different stuff about it. But I've never read anything like this. And I think this is actually the real point of it and possibly the most important thing about it. Can you apply Kintsugi to yourself? And it makes for a great story, and we all love a Kintsugi story. Let me explain. And let me see. Joseph Campbell's The Hero's Journey, right? It's vitally important for our hero, for a person to build themselves into, and I'm not just talking a sword fighting, weapon wielding, rule the world hero. I'm just talking about the traits of what a hero is in terms of being just and righteous and honorable and ethical and helping others and caring for others and in many ways. Heroes come in so many different formations, right? But in order for that to happen, our hero isn't just born that way and just evolves that way. Our hero is always broken first, right? And that's where the Kintsugi comes in. And that's where I think I can lend insight into my life and into yours. So if you've experienced, difficulty and hardship in your life, and most of us have, right? Let's just use it metaphorically to say you've been broken, although that's a bit extreme of a term, but you've been broken. Well, there you go. There's a wonderful opportunity to fill in those broken cracks in your life with gold. Apply the technique of Kintsugi to yourself and make yourself even more beautiful than you were. I like that, because somebody said to me many, many years ago, I forget who, said to me, and it's a good metaphor or a simile for that would be gold is ugly, kind of, when it comes out of the ground, right? There's kind of some gold, but if you look at it, you're like, yeah, I see the gold, but it's a mess. It's impure and it's got a lot of, it's just a mess. And you can't get the gold to be gold until you put it through the fire. Right? You have to heat it to tremendous temperatures to refine it and get rid of all the impurities, and then you'll end up with an ingot or a bar or a piece of pure gold. Right? So that's what happens in your life, hopefully. You are put through these fires, these challenges that are set forth for you, and these setbacks and all these things that happen, and the difficulties that come with being human, with interacting with other people, with living in this world, you know. So think about that in terms of the experiences you've had in the past and any experiences that come up in your future where the things are very challenging and you run the risk of being broken. Although, I don't mean, well, it's harsh but true. Let me not squelch that. You, from there, think about it as the perfect opportunity for Kintsugi on yourself. Fill in the cracks of gold, whatever they may be. It could be knowledge and learning, and a change in behavior and attitude, a change in environment or people, to make yourself better and more beautiful. I like it. And as soon as you look at it that way, all of a sudden, the challenges in your life become different. You can look at them differently. And then, you know, that's something that very quote-unquote successful people do, is they tend to look at challenges in their life as opportunities, right? So that's how it can be for you. It can be an opportunity. A difficult period, time, thing, incident in your life is an opportunity for you to make yourself better. That's it. All right. Thank you. Bye.